The Houston Astros recently took on the Mets at Minute Maid Park in a quick 2-game series, and they pummeled them, winning both games and scoring a total of 13 runs on 17 hits in those 2 games. The Stros have been really good yet again here in 2022, continuing the sustained success that has been going on in Houston since 2017 and maybe even 2015 too if you want to go back that far. They've been good for a while, and they're once again one of, if not the biggest threat in baseball. The biggest talking point from this series against the Mets has not really been any of that, however, but more so about the conversation of the unwritten rules of baseball, and there's a couple ways of looking at this. An Astros player flipped his bat, the Mets didn't like it, and neither did Astros manager Dusty Baker, calling his own player out. On Tuesday night, the Astros were beating up on the Mets. Jose Altuve had homered, Yordan Alvarez homered, and by the bottom of the 8th inning, it was 7-2 Houston and Jose Siri walked up to the plate. On the 4th pitch he saw, Siri smoked a fastball onto the train tracks to make it 8-2, and he stared at it, going on to hear it from Eduardo Escobar when rounding third base, with Astros catcher Martin Maldonado then discussing things with Escobar when he came up to bat about the situation. After the game, Siri was asked about what he did, saying through an interpreter that he talked to some of his teammates about it and he knew he made an error there by looking at the home run as long as he did, going on to say that things like that happen especially when you go up there frustrated at the plate, but that it wouldn't happen again. But did he really feel that way? Probably not, because the very next day before the second game against the Mets, Jose Siri tweeted this out before deleting it relatively quickly. After the first game, when asked about the situation, Dusty Baker had some stuff to say, making the point that back in his day, if someone did what Siri did, the next hitter would have been drilled, going on to say that Siri should have ran. Houston went on to win 5-3 on Wednesday, sweeping the short 2-game series against the Mets. But reporters did not forget about Siri's deleted tweet earlier that day, and after Siri refused any interview requests, Dusty Baker once again addressed it, saying that it's kind of in the past, and that he can't help when people tweet, but that they gotta be careful when they press that button, as that's something they were warned about in spring training, just to make sure that's really something you want to say before you press that button. And he's got a point, I mean, it's just a part of the world we live in now. Now, as far as if Siri should have been criticized or not for watching his home run, it's questionable. Now, obviously, this is all subjective, and nothing anybody says is the exact proven right way of doing it. Let's say Siri was in a big moment and hit a home run. He can watch it and flip the bat all he wants. The problem is that it was the bottom of the 8th inning with his team already up 5 runs. His homer wasn't a game changer at the end of the day, so was it kind of unnecessary? Maybe, but again, that's up to you. My biggest problem with Siri's antics after the home run is the production overall this season. If Siri had Jose Altuve or Yordan Alvarez's numbers, for example, sure, maybe it's a different story. But Siri doesn't have those kind of numbers at the plate this year. In fact, he's been terrible. Jose Siri was very good last season with the Astros, but it was in a terribly small sample size of only 21 games. As for this year, in 44 games played and 137 plate appearances, Jose Siri is hitting 190 with a 581 OPS with only 3 home runs, meaning he of course only had 2 overall before the one he hit against New York. I'm all for having fun and letting the kids play. I want flashy antics after home runs, I want bat flips, I want it all. But when you've been a really bad hitter and you hit your 3rd home run of the season in the bottom of the 8th inning when your team is already up 5 runs, I don't know if watching it is necessary, but maybe that's just a select few, I don't know. Again, if Siri was a much better hitter this year, it's a different story, and it's a much different story if the game was a little closer, but neither of those things were the case. Let me know your thoughts on this, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.